At Total Pharmacy Care, we fill your prescriptions and answer any questions about your medications. No distractions and no long lines. Tell your doctor to send your prescriptions to Total Pharmacy Care. Welcome back to another episode of Unwired Appalachia, coolest podcast around. We hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving with their friends and family. Randy White, who was a ham guy. Big ham guy.
Absolutely picked out on ham. And then Sunday had the ham and the soup beans.
Yeah, reruns are always the best part of Thanksgiving dinner. It's like the next day, what you do with those leftovers. How about Blankenship household, good Thanksgiving?
It typically always is.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. We hope everybody out there had a great Thanksgiving. And real quick, I want to say thank you to our sponsors, Bruce Walters. Bruce Walters just updated pricing on all of their new inventory. Go check them out at brucewaltersford.net.
We're also brought to you by Nova Pharmacy and Caremore Pharmacy. It's flu season, and the professional pharmacists at Nova Pharmacy and Caremore Pharmacy want you to get vaccinated. Call Joel or Sandy Thornberry today and get vaccinated and stay healthy. Call Nova Pharmacy at 606-432-2274 and call Caremore Pharmacy at 639-2273.
If you're looking for quality care for your loved ones, look no further than Presbyterian Homes of Cedar Creek and Good Shepherd at Phelps. Both facilities treat your loved ones with quality care and respect. They offer therapy, daily activities, exquisite cuisine, and home-like settings to make your family members feel at home. Call to schedule an appointment today at Cedar Creek. Call Jessica Thacker, Trevor's wife, at 432-8243, and at Good Shepherd, call 456-8725. Caring for your loved ones is what we do best.
Kid's getting good.
He is.
I mean, he's got this locked in.
And before we get into anything...
I sound like the infomercial guy.
No, it's not bad.
Before we get into anything, we got the episode 14, the shout out to Pete Rose. I'm saying shout
out
to Willie Mays. He's got a shout out too.
Shout out to 13-year-old me who wore number 14 in middle school basketball.
Wow.
I was a legend.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that. This is Season 2, Episode 14. So we got those out of the way. I didn't expect that. Shout out to 13-year-old Josh Blankenship, who apparently was tearing Phelps apart in Little League basketball. So credit to you.
I committed a lot of fouls.
That's all right. Yeah, you're 13. That's 13-year-old basketball. Well, right off the top, I can think of a few people who had a very good Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And that is the Pikeville Panthers, the Johnson Central Golden Eagles, the Paintsville Tigers, and the Belfry Pirates.
Absolutely.
All go and get wins. Pikeville and Johnson Central get big wins at home. Mm-hmm. Belfry and Paintsville traveled to Louisville
and pulled out wins.
Come home with big wins. All four teams playing the state championship.
You know, we've been talking about we had a chance for that to happen.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. It happened. I mean, and to have Pikeville and Paintsville facing each other in the Class I, it doesn't get any bigger than that to me. I mean, that's a rivalry game. They play in the regular season. They almost play every year. And now to settle this rivalry in the state championship, I mean, how can you have more fun than that if you're an Eastern Kentucky football fan?
Well, we talked about this in the last episode. It was like the dream scenario.
It was.
I felt like the odds of that happening were okay, but I don't think many of us thought that all the teams would go and get big wins because Belfry had a huge test, and so did Paintsville. I mean, just going on that road trip alone.
I mean, anytime you have to travel on the road, your back's against the wall.
Yeah.
You are traveling 4 or 5 hours while the other team gets to sit at home, practice. They're waiting on you to get there on a day off. I mean, they've had all day just to sit around and prepare. Yeah. You're traveling. I mean, that takes away from the kids right now. I mean, it's not easy to travel 4 or 5 hours on a bus.
Yeah, it's tough. So we'll start with, real quick skim over all these semifinal games. Pikeville playing Holy Cross. Holy Cross coming to Pikeville. That was a tough test. Pikeville looked great.
Pikeville looked really good. I mean, from the get-go, we could just look on the field and say, Holy Cross is outmatched. Pikeville was bigger, stronger, faster, all over the field. And they did what they wanted. I mean, it took Isaac McNamee a minute to settle down passing. But, boy, when he settled down.
He was fine.
His finishing numbers were he was 14 of 21 passing for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, he was unreal and had a couple called back. Jackson Hensley should have had at least 2 touchdowns, if not 3.
Yeah.
in that game. He had 2 brought back because of penalties.
And
one just egregious penalty.
One was, they were up
Egregious
36
penalty,
to 0, and that was putting the game away. That was a beautiful block. I can't remember who
I think it was Lockhart.
I think it was Lockhart who came across.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
It was Lockhart or Boyd Blair. I mean, just a textbook block.
A textbook.
They get a flag on it.
But up 36-0, you can't complain too much. It didn't really dictate the outcome.
Right.
It would have been cool if Hensley would have had another touchdown, but he still finished with 6 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. So
yeah, and maybe the most impressive thing, I mean, as good as Pikeville's offense was, the defense was just nasty.
And when you talk about defense, we talked about John Collum. He was in on everything, especially early on. He finished with 12 tackles that game.
Out there breaking people's will.
Yeah. And then after the game, I did a little interview with Collum. If you want to go on our Twitter and check that interview out, just all business. I mean, it's no celebration. He had no time for celebration. It was on to the next one. I mean, these guys are focused. From the get-go, from the beginning of the year, all season, all they say, we want to get back. Mm-hmm. We want to get back. We want to win. We got unfinished business. Now they got their opportunity.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely there now.
Well, they got a big opportunity going up against Paintsville, and Paintsville goes down. That's the second semifinal game. Paintsville goes down to Kentucky Country Day, and it was very touch and go. We were getting score updates on the sideline at the Pikeville game, myself, you, and Corey, and very close game.
Close. It was back and forth.
Yeah.
I mean, and then Paintsville pulled away in the fourth. I mean, I think it was 28-20 is the last we heard, and then all of a sudden it's 44-20, and that's the final. So once Paintsville got rolling, they settled down and just put the foot on the gas and finished the game the way you're supposed to.
Yeah, I was very shocked when I heard that Paintsville score because I think, like you said, it was a one-score game, the last I'd heard, and then the next update I got was after I'd already left, and Paintsville won by 24 points.
Yeah.
So,
this is the second meeting this year between 9-8 the first game.
And one of the only teams to really slow that Pikeville offense down this year was Paintsville, who we know is a very good defensive team.
Yeah, Coach Chirico, he does a great job. And they're defensive first. I mean, me and Josh talked about this. They come up with schemes, and they'll probably show Pikeville something Pikeville's not seen this year, or they'll try to.
Well, you're going to have to.
I mean,
these two teams are familiar with each other.
The first game, they didn't let Pikeville beat them deep.
Right.
They made them adjust and throw underneath. Now everybody's been trying to do that since then. Pikeville's got used to that and say, hey, whatever you give us, we're going to just take it and still score.
Yeah. Well, I think something that works in Paintsville's favor is the fact that they do have a lot of great athletes in that secondary. So they can So to verse Pikeville's great athletes that they have at receiver, everywhere from the both ends to both slots, like Pikeville's stacked at receiver.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Paintsville, I think.
Well, and they're big up front too, Paintsville is.
Yeah.
And they don't have to bring – when Jalen Allen rushes, he can get some one-on-one there. And then, you still got to play man up some with Pikeville.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do it the whole game. But
and I think that's what I was going to say is the fact that, Paintsville does have that luxury to where they have those kind of athletes to where they can man up or they can drop back into a zone.
Well, and we saw Pikeville. I mean, it looked like they had a beautiful game plan, as well as being more talented than Holy Cross. Yeah. They had a beautiful game plan. I mean working those screens, and then, we talked about the fake screen, the touchdown.
To Lockhart.
Yeah, I mean, a beautiful play call. And, again, Pikeville's defense, ridiculous. And then we'll talk a little bit about Belfry, who, listen, it's hard to even say Belfry was an underdog going into this DeSales game, but DeSales had a fantastic year. It was a tough team.
They'd beat 6A teams. They'd beaten 4A teams. They beat, Cal, who was preseason number 1 in 3A, and a lot of people thought that was the best team in the state regardless. They beat Cal twice this year. But Belfry, it goes down, it's double overtime, right? The game's on the line. They line up to kick an extra point. DeSales calls a timeout. So Belfry comes back out and sends their offense on the field. They go for the 2. Isaac Dixon gets in. That's how they get there. So Philip Haywood is you can't out coach him.
Well,
you just can't.
And something that you said that we talked about a little bit this weekend is traditionally Philip Haywood's more of a conservative coach. You get that timeout call, you think about it. Hey, I'm on the road. Yeah, I got a chance to win this thing and go to the state championship. Beautiful gamble. Beautiful. Paying off for Philip Haywood. And now you got him facing up against another legend.
The 2 winningest coaches all-time in the state. Currently going into the game, Haywood sits at, let me find it, 448 career wins. Dudley Hilton has 393 career wins.
I mean, that's
Dudley has 3 state titles. He's 3-0 in state title games. Philip Haywood is 6-6.
been to 12 state
12.
championships.
This is going to be the 13th.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Bell County, tough team, 14-0. Belfry, 10-3 on the season. It should just be another barn burner of a game. 2 pretty evenly matched teams.
Evenly matched. I mean, when you look at it, all I can say is the matchup of the coaches.
Right.
And both teams have arguably the best coach around. I mean, the only one that can rival one is the other.
Right.
So,
and again, it just feels so weird thinking of Belfry, who is a powerhouse, as an underdog. Mm-hmm. But they're playing that role beautifully now.
Well, the thing about Belfry is, you hear Philip Haywood say in August or September, and he says one game at a time, we're just wanting to get better. And people, sometimes they think he's just saying that as a broken, but he means it.
Right.
And he really teaches the game week to week, game to game.
Yeah.
He's not like where we start at is not where we're going to finish.
Well, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see how these 2 legendary coaches kind of game plan for each other. And then the last team moving on was Johnson Central, who did what Johnson Central does, and they just handle business and completely obliterate anybody they play.
That's just what Johnson – at this point, everybody, you hear a lot of people saying, well, they can't do that to Boyle. They can't. I'm not so sure. I mean, Boyle County was a 3A team last year. They got a lot of the same pieces back. They had problems at Belfry last year in the playoffs, got beat in the second round. Johnson Central is just a different type of monster. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be shocked if it's a close game, but I still, I might be the only one who thinks this, but I think Johnson Central is going to win this game.
Well, I think it bodes well for Johnson Central that they're like 13, 14 players deep on both sides of the ball. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Pure raw talent that is. It hasn't let them down yet. So
and they're just a juggernaut.
They're
they're an absolutely they're the Goliath.
They are. 5th straight 4A state title game appearance. They were 1-3 so far going into this one. Boyle County's last state championship came in 2017. They won a 3A. Boyle County's a traditional team. They've won 6 or 8 state titles over the seasons. So. This is just 2 good teams, and whoever shows up and plays their style of football and imposes their will is going to win. So far, I've not seen any indication to make me think Johnson Central is just not going to do that again.
That's right.
There was a Twitter post by Kayla Banthers, and I think she said that out of 14 games they played, I think they've had 12 running clocks.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely.
12 running clocks
they
out
beat
of 14 games.
They opened the season up with 2 of the best teams West Virginia, and they just beat them like it's nothing. So,
well, listen, the schedule right now, well, not right now, the schedule is Paintsville versus Pikeville, 2 p.m. on Friday.
Yep.
Bell County versus Belfry at 7 p.m. on Friday.
Yep.
Those are 2 Friday games. And then, so that's Single A and Class 3A playing on Friday. Saturday, we've got the 2A game, which is Mayfield versus Somerset.
It's going to be a dandy game, too.
A lot of great games. Then the 4A game, Boyle County versus Johnson Central at 4:30, and then Cove Cath versus Frederick Douglass at 8. That Saturday lineup.
That is nasty.
Stick around if you want to see some great football that day.
And then it ended off in 6A.
Yeah, 6A with Trinity versus Mel. So you're really going to see.
Oh, yeah. That's always a good game, Trinity and Mel.
If you're a fan of football at any level, you're going to want to be at Kroger Field this weekend.
Absolutely. The state title and state championship games, we always look forward to it. We have fun. We get to see the other teams down there. We always make a weekend out of it, and we see as many games as we can. Even though we're working, we're doing other stuff. We still have some fun with it because we're fans first.
Well, and it's pretty unprecedented to see 4 mountain teams.
Well, Bell County is a mountain team.
Well, that's true.
5.
That's true.
5 mountain teams, legit mountain teams. Yeah. And, this is set up to, get the 2 best teams. And a lot of people are thinking, well, they're trying to get the Lexington and Louisville teams in it. Well, that's not always the best times. And the mountains prove, these kids, they play a style of football that not everybody sees. When you play hard-nosed, smash-mouth football, it pays off. It's a winning formula for a reason.
And I know a lot of the guys, especially guys like you who cover all these teams, and a lot of people in the area are feeling a lot of pride with what these teams went down there and did this weekend, and all the teams really winning these games, whether it be Pikeville and Johnson Central at home or Belfry and Paintsville going to Louisville and winning these games.
Yeah.
Congrats again to them. I mean, just such a huge achievement for them.
Whoever wins and whoever comes in second, there is no losers from this point out. Everybody's had great seasons. Something to hold your hat on, something to be proud of. I mean, just getting there is something that most teams never do.
Yeah, and this won't be the end of what we're talking about as far as high school football goes. We still have all mountain teams coming up. Sure. We're obviously next week going to talk a little bit about these state championship games, which you're looking at probably 6 games that are going to be very good games. Yeah. A lot of stuff to talk about. You're going to see these guys roaming the sidelines down there at that game, and probably me too.
Yeah.
It's looking like I'm going to hopefully be down there, but you're definitely going to see Randy, Josh, Corey. If you see these guys, stop by, say hey, maybe buy them a hot chocolate. That'd be a nice thing to do. Yeah. What's the weather look like? Have we looked at the weather?
It's supposed to be 50 for the Pikeville game.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that doesn't sound bad.
We've covered them in rain, snow, everything. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're going to be there. We're going to be covering it as long as it's not lightning and they're on the field. We'll be there.
Yeah. That's going to be so tough.
I was thinking is definitely going to be tough.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
We've talked about this earlier this season. We didn't know
there's going to have to be 12 teams. Emerged.
We just don't know. I mean, it is loaded this year.
And how do you pick a player of the year?
Exactly. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and then
there's there's no right person to pick or wrong person to pick.
It makes it even harder that we have so many mountain teams that made it this far into the playoffs.
Well, and you want everybody to get the correct amount of acknowledgement and respect for the seasons that they have. There's just so many players that had such special seasons, and they're everywhere. And some of these teams have double-digit guys that are going to end up on these all-mountain teams. So that's just a credit to the quality of athlete and quality of coaching and just mountain football.
Yeah, mountain football. I mean,
it's the best.
Anybody in Eastern Kentucky take pride in these teams. Go out and root them on. If you're in Lexington, stop in. I mean, it's fun.
Absolutely. So we're looking forward to a big weekend down at Kroger Field this weekend. Again, best of luck to the Pikeville Panthers, Johnson Central Golden Eagles, the Paintsville Tigers, and the Belfry Pirates, and I guess the Bell County Bobcats too. Yeah. I mean, congrats to all these mountain teams. Even though we want to see Belfry come home with the state championship. We want to see those state championships coming back to Pike County. Sue us, So we'll talk more about that, and we'll see you guys this weekend at Kroger Field. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about the Kentucky Wildcats football team, who obviously got bowl eligible the week before this, but then come out against Louisville
taking care of business,
beat Louisville down.
Oh my goodness!
The 4th straight year Kentucky's been bowl eligible. So first and foremost,
that is phenomenal.
Huge credit to Mark Stoops turning this program around, because the cupboard was bare when he got there.
He was. I mean, he's taken this team, and now we expect to be in bowl games.
Yeah, we expect to be in bowl games. So real quickly, as far as the Louisville game goes, a few things jump right off the page to you. Lynn Bowden only threw the ball twice.
That's all he had to throw.
Yeah, I mean, when you're running it like that,
what he rushed for? 4 touchdowns?
4 touchdowns and 248 yards.
I mean, he was
hell of a fantasy day.
Oh, yeah. he was phenomenal. I mean, even when he wasn't running the ball and he was handing off, he made the correct reads. He was doing everything right, and you got to give credit to the offensive line, because it was wet and nasty, and we wanted that because we do want a run game, but it played right into our advantage.
Well, that was the big thing, I think, our offensive line just absolutely dominated Louisville's D-line. They had no answer for what we were doing on the ground. Rodriguez had 9 carries, 125 yards and a touchdown, and A.J. Rose we had 6 touchdowns, 6 rushing touchdowns.
Phenomenal. I mean, as a Kentucky fan, that's what you want, because we're running the ball well. We're going to win some games.
Yeah, and Lynn Bowden very deservingly named SEC Player of the Week this week. I mean, who else could you possibly pick when it comes to that? Right now, from everything I'm looking at, it's looking like Kentucky. Obviously, the bowl assignments come out on December 8th after this weekend, which is championship weekend. They'll have the bowl selection shows. Kentucky probably going to end up in Liberty, Gator, or Belk Bowl. CBS has us playing Iowa State in the Liberty Bowl.
I would like to see that. I mean, you know,
I'd take them over Iowa, which is Mark
Yeah.
Stoops' alma mater.
Yeah, they're playing tough. I like that matchup for us better, Iowa State. But, I mean, whoever we get, you know, hopefully we show up ready to play.
All right, and then, you know, real quick, we'll talk – well, not real quick. I keep saying real quick. I'm trying not to be so redundant with that because obviously we're not going to cover any of this stuff real quick. We'll talk about the college football championship weekends coming up this week. We'll start out with the SEC championship game, which is Georgia versus LSU. LSU is a 6.5-point favorite, which seems crazy low.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you would think 8.5, maybe 10. But 6.5, I don't know. I like that. I like LSU with 6.5.
I mean, they blew Texas A&M. Now, that being said, Texas A&M stinks.
Yeah, they do.
They're awful.
They do. But still, LSU's playing well.
Yeah.
Georgia's not looked great in a while. I mean, they've had a good season, but they've not been playing great.
Do you give Georgia any chance at all in this game?
No. No.
I
think their defense can play okay, but I think LSU's just, especially with Joe Burrow, they're too much.
How about Joe Burrow coming out with the did you see the name on the back of the jersey, spelling it with the EAUX for this past game? Yeah. Shout out to Joe Burrow. I think Coach O is going to get his first SEC championship. That over-under is 52.5. I think LSU may score that themselves.
It'd be close. I think LSU's looking around 40.
Yeah, and then we'll just jump straight to the Pac-12. Oregon, who I think a lot of people like to go to the college football playoff this year until they drop that second loss, going up against Utah, which may be the Pac-12's only chance to get a team in that playoff.
Utah has to win if they want a team in that playoff.
Utah's a 6.5-point favorite. The over-under is 51 right now. I think Utah wins this game.
You think so? I mean, Oregon just don't have a whole lot of weapons right now around Herbert. But
I think I'm with you guys. I liked Utah in this one, especially, you know, like you said, ever since Oregon dropped that second game, like they just it hasn't felt right.
But you know, it's this time of year. You know, you can't go. It's your rivalry game and the champion. They're going to be playing hard. They want that championship, and they want Utah not to be in there.
They want Utah not to be in there, but the Pac-12 wants Utah to be in there. You can guarantee that because I just don't see them getting a seat at the table, especially if something happens and Georgia upsets LSU.
Yeah.
LSU's in no matter what.
LSU's in. LSU, they got to be in.
Big 12 game is Baylor versus Oklahoma. This is a rematch from a couple weeks ago. Oklahoma's a 9-point favorite. Over-under 61. The over-under in this game should be 150.
It should be. I love the over in that.
Yeah, the over.
Oklahoma's going to score 65.
Do you give Baylor any chance at all to upset Oklahoma?
I don't. I mean, I think they're going to score a lot of points, but I don't know if they're going to be able to score 60-plus points. It might be 60-something to 40-something or 60-something to 50-something.
Baylor,
I got Jalen Hurts going off.
Yeah, I mean, he probably – I'm sure he will. Nobody plays defense. They might as well be playing 7-on-7 drill out there because nobody plays defense in the Big 12. The Big 10 game, I think, is the one other than maybe the SEC game that's the most intriguing to me, which is Wisconsin versus Ohio State. Ohio State's a 16.5-point favorite.
That is high, even if it is Ohio State, who's been rolling.
Wisconsin was playing so well until they ran up against them. Yeah,
I mean, they got vengeance. Maybe they want to, you know. I just don't see anybody stopping Ohio State right now. Well, anybody named Wisconsin.
Right. Well, and I think Ohio State's probably another one of those teams similar to LSU. I think whether they win or lose, they get in. Yeah, it's just one of these teams, either, you know, Wisconsin or Georgia, could really throw things off in that if they win this championship game, I mean, you got to think they're a lock to get in.
Yeah. Have to be.
I like Ohio State in this game, and then me and you will talk a little bit about this because I know we started talking about Clemson a little bit this weekend.
We did.
I know we have a little bit of differing opinion. Virginia going up against Clemson, which is just like, why are they even going to play this game?
That's going to be a massacre.
Clemson is a 29-point favorite in the ACC championship.
And I don't know if that's high enough.
No, it's not high enough. They should be a 100-point favorite. They're going to beat Virginia to death.
Yeah, I mean – to me, Clemson, like I know this is a part of the discussion. I think they should be number one until somebody beats them. I don't care if they've not played him. They're killing everybody.
But is a lot of that based on what they did last year?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's based on last year. It's based on this year, too. I mean, they had the one close game against North Carolina, but they still won it. So, to me, as long as they still won it, they came out on top. That's all that matters. until somebody beats them, I'm of the thinking they're still the top dog.
I mean, that's fair. Josh, do you give Virginia any chance in this game?
God, no.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and my whole thing is, I don't think that Clemson's not good. I think they're very good. I just don't know. Look at their schedule. They haven't played anybody.
They haven't. But, I mean, in big games, they step up. I mean,
well, and I think a lot of that is also due to
coaching.
Well, and they play in a conference to where they don't have to really step outside.
Their conference is trash. We know that.
Well, they can't help it that Florida State has just absolutely fallen off a cliff. Miami is not what Miami used to be. Virginia Tech's definitely not. I mean, the ACC used to be a very tough conference.
Yeah, it's not anymore.
And was at least competitive enough to where you could argue for some of the teams, but now it's literally
now
just
Clemson is the flagship.
Yeah,
they're the flagship.
And they're the only team we've seen in a long time that is doing in recruiting comparable to what Alabama does.
Yeah, and you got to give credit to Dabo Swinney there. I mean, he's got them there, and he's got them to stay there the last 3-4 years. So it's tough getting there. It's even tougher staying there.
Do you put them as the favorite to win the national championship?
I do. I think going in, they're my favorite.
I actually don't even know if I've got Clemson in the national title game.
I mean, let's say it's all chalk this weekend. Let's say it's Utah, LSU, Ohio State. Now, Clemson's obviously going to be in if they win. That means the Big 12 champion doesn't get in.
Yeah.
So do you put Utah in over Oklahoma if they win the Big 12, or do you put Oklahoma in over Utah?
You got to put Oklahoma in, I think.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma would get that nod.
I think you got to put Oklahoma in.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't either.
I really don't know. I think we'll see a lot of that. I don't see any upsets on this board. I just don't. I think Ohio State and LSU are right here.
They're the 1 and 2 going in.
I think they're the two best teams. I think Clemson has as much talent, if not more talent, than any of those teams. I just don't think they've been they haven't been tested all year.
And a lot of that too is they get to rest. I like teams who get some rest like that. I mean,
true.
Injuries and stuff like that.
Clemson's Johnson Central.
I really honestly though, I want to see who Clemson gets matched up with in the first round of the college football playoff.
It would be right now. It'd be Ohio State. Right.
Yeah. It would be Ohio State because Clemson they're 4, correct?
Yeah. No, Clemson. Yeah, Clemson's the 4 seed.
Yeah, because Ohio State's 1, LSU's 2. Yeah, I mean it would be. I just don't see any upsets on this board, so I think what you're gonna end up seeing is them having to make a decision if Utah beats Oregon, if they're gonna put that Pac-12 champion over the Big 12 champ, even though the Pac-12 champ, if it's Utah, will have a better record than the Big 12 champ.
I just don't see it. I mean, that could happen. I just don't see it. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean.
I just don't think the Pac-12, they don't play a lot of great teams out there. You know what I mean?
It's better than the Big 12.
The Big 12 is
I mean,
not very
you
good
could argue that.
either.
I mean, you could argue that the Pac-12 this year has been tougher than the Big 12 and certainly the ACC.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So that's why it's so hard. I mean,
It is,
you
it's
don't know. This is maybe the biggest argument, and this is down the road why there should be 6 teams, if not 8 teams.
Eight would be perfect.
Eight would be
eight is the sweet
super
spot.
entertaining.
I just think then you know. Then you know.
Then you know you at least got 8 of the best teams.
Because
in the
that way
nation
you can give a benefit of the doubt to a team like a Utah or Oklahoma who might
and give them a shot to compete for it. You know what I mean? And then if you're good enough, you're good enough.
And then still you got a team like Alabama who would still be in the mix then too, who's a very good team and can arguably beat anybody.
Right, and we know on everybody's schedule they have at least 2 games that are just throwaway games that are a cupcake team coming in just to get slaughtered for a paycheck.
Yep.
Let's lose that game and make it a meaningful game.
Absolutely.
And then we have a true national championship because
that's the first step.
This is better than the BCS.
Better than the BCS. It's
but
the first step.
It could be better.
8 would be a sweet spot. 16 might be too much for football, but you can't. 8 would be perfect.
8 I think would be perfect, although we would probably find something.
I mean,
right. I mean, that's
typically what people do,
right.
Especially now in the social media area.
Okay, so real quick, favorite just to win the national championship, not even the playoff.
Before the season, I said Clemson. I'm going to stick with Clemson.
God, LSU?
Yeah, I'm sticking with LSU. I don't remember if I picked them.
You picked them.
I think I said I think they could win a national championship. You know, I've been on LSU since last year. I'm sticking with Coach O.
I mean, man, I'm just a big fan. If you got the best quarterback, you want at least.
I think he'll win the Heisman, but I still think Justin Fields may be better.
I mean,
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence might be the best one of the bunch.
Let's say you could pick right now. Let's say Trevor Lawrence could leave college.
If he's leaving college and I'm the Bengals, he's my guy. He's my guy.
You knew where I was going with that.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it for me. He's the sure
over
fight.
Justin Fields for sure.
Oh, no doubt about it.
See, that would be tough for me. I would take Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields likely over any of the guys coming out this year. What do you think? No?
I mean, it looks like the Bengals are going to take Burrow, but
I think it's Burrow.
Yeah. I like Burrow too. I just hope he'll pan out. And then, you know, we'll talk for a few minutes about the Bengals. They get their first win of the year.
look very good. Look
What
very
happened?
good.
They dropped a wide open pass in the end zone.
That's true.
Still, other than that,
Here's the thing. They look very good considering what they looked like the first however many weeks of the
take away
season.
that touchdown drop. Dalton was getting rid of it. He was putting it on time. He was zipping the ball. They were coming up with catches. Offensive line blocked people. Defense tackled. I mean, it was a good win. I mean, Alden Tate is just.
He had a good game.
If he develops, look out.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I'm kind of scared when I see Andy Dalton have a game like that. He became the all-time leading touchdown thrower in franchise history because he actually does have one more year on his contract. We can cut him and not lose anything. But it scares me when he has a game like that because I know in the long run, you know.
He's auditioning for He's auditioning for next year. That's what's happening right now.
Oh, yeah, he's buying for a decent trade to a team.
Or free agency side.
Free agency, yeah. I mean, we cut that guy. He gets a new contract. I mean, he's playing for next year. What we don't need is Andy Dalton coming in, playing well.
Get hot and win 4 in a row or 5 in a row at the end of the season. We don't need that.
That's right.
You know, we can win another game, maybe 2.
Over-under's 3. You got us winning over or under 3 games.
I think that's a push. I think we probably end up winning 3.
We got the Browns twice, the Patriots, and the Dolphins.
Which, for the Patriots game, I will be there with my buddies Jacob Bryant, Dom, and Little. So we'll be there.
And the Patriots stink right now. Or they're 10-2. They don't stink, but they're not playing very well.
They don't have any weapons right now.
Yeah. They look awful.
The Antonio Brown chatter is getting a little louder and louder.
I just don't see
I heard that all morning this morning.
He's getting louder.
I don't see him coming back. Why would you invite that guy back into your locker room?
They need somebody to throw the ball to.
If Belichick and Brady and that group
Des Bryant's a free agent. Go sign Des Bryant.
He wasn't good when he left. At least Antonio Brown was still pretty good. I just don't see them. I would say Gronk comes back before Antonio Brown. I don't think either one of those things happen.
I don't know, but the chatter is louder and louder. I mean,
that's true.
You know,
well, they did. They looked awful yesterday.
They did.
The offense
Well,
could not do anything.
I'll tell you who's not looking awful, folks. My Baltimore.
You were right.
Yeah, you were right. And right now, Lamar Jackson's running away with the MVP. I can't
say nothing about.
And
the
I hate
defense.
saying
He's already ran away with my heart, man. I love him.
He's either 3 or 30 yards away from breaking the single season
rushing record.
My record.
Yeah. I mean, he is absolutely, and I'm sure you all seen the highlight, the move that he put on the corner yesterday for the Niners, who have a good defense.
And that came down to a field goal. And, you know, Justin Tucker, for you guys, it's got to be a luxury having a kicker like that who's, you know, there's no moment too big for Justin Tucker.
It's always nice, man, to have a good kicker. I imagine the way our team feels right now is how Peyton Manning felt when he had primetime Vinatieri.
Yeah, Vinatieri looked tough yesterday, boy.
I still, you know, I'm not sold on Baltimore in the playoffs, but I could be wrong. I'm still going to say I got to see them beat people in the playoffs.
Man, I keep hating the hype that everybody keeps giving us because I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan and I'm not sold on the
Say
team.
they get Kansas City in the second round. Kansas City jumps up to a 3-touchdown lead, and you got to throw the ball. What are you going to do?
I mean, you definitely can't run your way back into the game.
Well, I don't know. With a guy like this, I think maybe you can.
You might. I mean, he's got that big playability. I don't know.
The Ravens, and we talked about this a little bit for a second yesterday.
I just think we're a scary matchup in the playoffs. we're just so young. I don't know if we're like
if y'all keep
oh,
playing
well,
the way
they're
you
a lock,
do,
but
you know, you can beat anybody. I mean, y'all have proven that. But to me, like, playoff football is different.
Yeah.
So at
oh
times,
yeah,
everything tightens up.
It's the whole nother
So-
season.
It hurts my soul to say the Ravens are
They're probably
very
the favorites.
good.
They're definitely the
Well, they
favorites
got
in the
home field
AFC.
advantage in the playoffs yesterday, now that they won and the Patriots lost, and
We're
they
on
hold
that.
the tiebreaker
Yeah.
because they beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
We're on an 8-game winning streak, which
So-
is blowing my mind. Keep it
Yeah,
up,
I mean,
guys.
they're the hottest team in the NFL. We'll see how that keeps going. I mean, you hate to see it. If you're a Bengals fan, you hate
I
to see it.
mean, you know, as a Bengals fan, you hate to see anybody win
Yeah.
because we're not winning at all.
And Andy Dalton, we don't need you to have any
No.
more good games. You
Nope.
just go out there and be Andy Dalton that we know.
And you know, he's had a good career. He holds the franchise record for touchdowns.
Yeah, but that's
good.
just-
we don't need him to do anything
That
else.
speaks more
It's
to the
time-
fact that he's been mediocre for so long.
it's
That's
time-
all it took.
It's time to move on from Andy Dalton.
100%.
Time to move on.
So, anyway, God almighty. I mean, we got to stop ending this on talking about the Bengals. It just bums me out.
Yeah, we get frustrated.
We're going to have to
all
get
the
that
time.
in like the middle somewhere. That way we end on a high note. So anyway, real quickly, thank you again for joining us for another episode. Good luck again to the Pikeville Panthers, the Paintsville Tigers, the Belfry Pirates, and the Johnson Central Golden Eagles.
Yeah.
We will see everybody at Kroger Field this weekend. We'll talk more about the state championship games in the episode next week.
All right. Boom.
Thanks again.